Welcome to Smart Cherry's Thoughts. This is Sai from India.
Hi, Kay. Hi.
Hi, Sai. Nice to meet you. Uh, Thank you very much for having me.
It's an honor for me. Thank you very much for giving me opportunity to interview you for my YouTube channel and podcast.
It's an honor for me too. Thank you for having me again.
So I've gone through a profile. I can see you're doing different works. You are a data engineer and you are Microsoft most valuable professional, and you are into multiple things. So I thought to tell about your work to my audience.
So yes, I'm Kay Sauter. I live in Switzerland, in Zurich. So I also a consultant across Switzerland, mostly consult companies here in German part of Switzerland. So my German is also native language, and you know I've been working with data for like 15 years now, and mostly with SQL Server or on premises, but also have done works on Azure SQL, on Azure VMs, and stuff like that. Yeah.
So your role is to is a data engineer.
Actually, I'm the consultant service I'm working for. I am a solution architect. So what I do is to design solutions for my clients, but also work as a hands-on as a data engineer. If you want to say so? Yes.
So 15 years of data engineering experience. How is it?
Well, you changed a lot over the past 15 years. I mean, data engineer was not something that you would have said, named it that way back then, like 10 years ago. You would be just basically a SQL Server engineer, something like that. And yeah, the changed drastically in the last years how we work and also think with data. Yeah.
So in this evolution, 15 years of technology evolution, what you have seen, the changes happened in data or data management or data engineering.
Well, yes, of course, the tools became more complex. We have also now the tasks to do that goes into data science. For example, machine learning is a topic. Also, to analyze more data, to think about clouds, for example, cloud solutions that can also make the whole solution more complex, even though in the end it gets can get easier to administrate. So but also ideas like DevOps. We have to also take care of I mean, you know that yourself, being a DevOps engineer yourself. Usually I work, of course, with Azure DevOps. So it's something that I also have in my mind. Also, so CI, CD stuff that I have to deploy for. Yeah.
So in present technology generation, so how is data engineering happening?
Well, generally you have different stages. For example, environments. You have a development environment. You have an environment for testing. You have an environment for user acceptance and production. So you have to have a DevOps pipeline for this. So the engineering for this also means you put everything into Git. I mean, 10 years ago, that's something that you hardly ever did. As a data engineer, you worked in SQL Server, you hardly ever did that. Um, But nowadays, it's you also have to understand really what you do from back to the end. That means from data sources, from other sources to SQL Server or Azure SQL, so the database, up to the presentation layer like Power BI. So, yeah.
So you are a consultant, also solutions architect. You interact with clients. You talk about business. So what change that you are observing in the technology business or the client's requirements in compared to 15 years ago?
Well, one striking change was the pandemic, right? The pandemic really changed also how we interact with our clients. A lot of clients nowadays don't expect you to come to the place anymore, but we just have online meetings, just with the web camera and talk with the clients that way. So it's also we get asked more complex solutions. So that means, for example, we have to really to consider how to gather the data, how to clean the data, how to do the ETL, what kind of solutions you really have in mind. Because if you want to keep down the costs that nowadays, you have just much more possibilities to offer for the clients other than just a database as we had in the past. Nowadays, we don't just do the classic data warehouses anymore, but other solutions like lakes, data lakes, and others paradigms that we have to keep in mind.
And what kind of projects you work on?
Right now, we have different projects that we work for different clients, so like for government, for private clients. That's actually pretty much across everything. Across industries as well. It could be industry, it could be so manufacturing industry, it could be finance, it could be chemistry. That's pretty much across everything. We also have projects in data science. We have projects in AI. So it's very diverse what we have.
So this experience that you gained in this 15 years, how this is helping you in your present role?
Well, that's actually a good question because you always learn something new. It's always there's almost no day that you don't learn anything new as a data engineer. So it's constantly pacing forward, and of course what you've learned in the past, you always have it somehow in your backpack. And you take it with you because you know how solutions should be designed, or the solutions to want to be used basically by your clients. So that's actually what it helps. But in the end, you always learn something new. This is actually, of course, if you are a data engineer with some years of experience, you also have some ideas that you also can get into new works. Yeah. So it's
Yeah. So you are working on different software development projects. So how you define this diversity? You're working for different industries, different levels of companies.
how I define the
That
diversity.
yeah.
What kind of diversity do you have in mind?
You said you're working for projects that belongs to different industries and different levels of companies and private, public. So working for completely different things at the same time, how is it? How is that experience?
Yeah. Okay. It always depends. Of course, if you design a solution, usually the customer also has different ideas. So every customer is different. But if you talk to different industries, they tend to have their own ideas. I just can give you some insight. If you talk, for example, with finance, then they have usually also um, compliance issues that we have to solve for. If we will talk to government, they want usually that we modernize their solutions to lift them to the current state of art. And other industries, they really want to just to have manufacturing industry, for example, they classically want to have a better insight of what kind of products perform and which not, which products should be pushed. So it's more like in the sales and the marketing level that they want to do. So it's usually, but always, I mean, there are always special customers that they have different ideas in their mind to specific problems to solve for. And this is actually also what I really love of my profession, because you have always different challenges, different insights of different industry, and it's something that I'm really passionate about. And I also love the products I'm working with, and this is Microsoft products, of course, because Microsoft right now, in the last few years, I feel like Microsoft have shown a pace of development of innovation that is really interesting and really huge. So it's also an exciting time for me to work in this industry.
So how is working for Microsoft products?
Yeah, like I said, Microsoft is an extremely innovative company. It's actually hard to keep up with, but they deploy for production so you can use it. So it's really, you have to pay attention on their releases. The releases are oftentimes on a monthly basis, sometimes on a weekly basis. So you have to constantly learn on those products, and that's makes it also interesting, because you always learn something new again. So it's always about learning, and it's also to find new creative ideas and ways that you can use the products to solve problems with.
So how do you find a solution for any problem that you get?
Um, yeah, that's of course, you always have to talk with the customer to get their needs. You have to find out what they want, because in the end, the customer pays you. So you have to nail um, the solution to solve a problem they have. So it's really all about communication as well, because and I always think there's also something that's actually changed, especially in the last 20 years. 20 years ago, if you were a computer scientist, then you were basically that person that was not speaking much, didn't do much interaction with other people, but that has drastically changed today. Today, as a computer scientist, especially a data engineer, you can't really be a person that is not interactive with other people. You also have to work with other people, be it with other specialists or just with the client. And this is also something I really appreciate, that I can talk with people.
And what are the challenges that you face in your role?
Yeah, one challenge is always costs, right? Um, people want to have your solution yesterday and at no cost. That's the preferred way, even though that's of course not possible. And sometimes you have to explain to people that if they maybe invest a bit more, they have even a better solution that it pays off. Sometimes you have to also show the people that there is a return on investment. So this is not always easy to do. So we also have some aspects that we have to discuss with people that shows what kind of possibilities the solution may have if you put it a bit further, or if maybe sometimes also it's actually the vice versa. If someone comes to you and they ask for a huge solution, sometimes you have to tell them maybe you should scale it down or make smaller steps, because that's a bit too huge. And it may be not possible to solve it that way that you have in mind. So it's
yeah. And how much knowledge you have in technology?
well, that's a hard question. I mean, it's I feel like it's always easy to overestimate yourself, especially if you have some years of experience. And I don't feel like I'm the expert for everything either. I'm really not. So it's not something that I would say you really learn everything and can do everything. And I'm sure that even the big names in the industry, they feel the same way. It's impossible to know everything. So I think it's important to keep it in mind to not to lose the focus that other people don't know that much either, because if you do that, then you may come across distant and also not understandable. So I really try to not think I'm very good actually, because I really don't. I think it's, yeah. Of course, I have experience, but doesn't mean I know everything at all. It's really impossible.
And what is the role of data engineer in software development?
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, if you are a software engineer, you have it's a totally different way of thinking of how your software works. If you are a data engineer, you have usually scripts, not software. It is something that is exists in the backend. It has changed in the recent years. So can you give a good example? Like 8 years ago, it was hard to find DBA, so database administrator, that actually used Git, for example, or just a version control for that matter. It doesn't have to be Git. But for DevOps, also for software engineers, that has been used for a much longer time, actually, probably since the early 2010, perhaps even before that, actually, mid zeros, it was actually common to do this. But it only became a common practice maybe like 5-6 years ago, that we really use Git in data engineering. So the mindset is also different. And after, in the beginning of my career, so it was also oftentimes not so easy to talk with software engineers, because the way they think and the way they talk is very different from those people that are doing data engineering. But if you get used to this, then you also know how to talk to those people, because you also know a bit better how they think. So you also can work easier together. This is also something that comes with experience, of course. It's not something that you just can read about, because in books or something like this you don't get this experience. This is something really you have to work. Another thing is, for example, if you go to university, most of the time that people learn at universities is something like how to become a software engineer, how to develop code for something. But it's rarely something like a data engineer. And one of the problems of a data engineer is that it really comes down to the tools you're using. It's also a bit with software engineering, because you also have like the different languages like C Sharp, Java, you name it. You also have this in data engineering, but you also have different tools like it's say AWS, which you are working for. And if I have to work with AWS, probably I will be a beginner. I will be a junior engineer, because but I'm used to work with Microsoft Stack, and I love Microsoft Stack. Then it's also something I know how to work with. But those tooling is, I feel like the toolings in the data engineering is much more important than in software engineering, because in software engineering, you know, you have an editor, you have a language, and that's pretty much it. Some DevOps tools, but in data engineering, you have to know about databases. You know how the database you are using, how it works, how your programming languages, if you using Python, it works, or if you use, let's say, SQL, T-SQL for SQL Server, then you also need to know this, of course. So the tools you have is a bit more diverse, I would say.
How many tools does a data engineer need to know, and what skill set a data engineer need to have?
Oh, that's a good question. I would say that that's not definitely the answer here. I mean, it always comes down to what solutions you want to solve, what problems you want to solve, and what task you're working on. If you, let's say, work for a bank, and you only have like Python and SQL Server, or maybe let's say Azure SQL or Azure Managed Instance, for example, then you probably are using mostly Python, and maybe some CI/CD tools and something like that. But over the years, especially if you come to different industries, what you get is, of course, the different problems you need to solve with different kind of tools. So that's actually something that comes really with the employer, or with the problem, or just the problem you want to solve. That's not so easy. But usually, what you will do as a data engineer, you solve a lot of ETL problems. Of course, that's one part. You sometimes also solve machine learning or data science problems. You also do data warehouse solutions. So it really depends on the problem you want to solve. Yeah.
So, how many data engineering tools are there in Microsoft?
Yeah, that's a good question. Now, Microsoft is pretty well known that they have usually several tools to solve one problem. So, for example, if you have SQL Server Managed Studio, you also can use VS Code. For example, you also can use Visual Studio Code, but you also can use other stuff like let's say other editors. Visual Studio is also a possibility for just for that basically. And then you have, of course, you have SSIs for on-premises. That's the solution for ETL solution for SQL Server. You have for Azure, but also for on-premises, you have ADF, so Azure Data Factory. You have other tools you can work with. So sometimes those product names can be a bit confusing, but that's, I think, something that is pretty much across the industry. So, for example, for on-premises, what we have is SSIS, SSRS, SSAS, and so it's all those abbreviations that don't differ much. So what it means in SSIS is the integration services, reporting services, and also analysis services, for example. That can be for a beginner a bit confusing if they are not used to work with those tools.
So how to think if you are a data engineer?
How you think as a data engineer?
To solve or to find any solution?
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, a data engineer is obviously, like the name already suggests, about data, right? So you find solutions for data. It's if you compare it again to a software engineer oftentimes think about algorithms, right? A data engineer is not so much about algorithms. We also do think about algorithms, but oftentimes that's something that we are not really paying attention to because that's not something that we have to think about first and foremost. What we first and foremost think about is how to store data. Is it secure? How to clean data? How to provide the data that people can access it and can analyze it. And in that process, it can sometimes, this is not usually the case, sometimes also happen that we also have to discuss algorithms. But that's only if you come to data science or machine learning. That's not something that as a data engineer you see every day. It can happen, but it's not something that you do every day, in contrast to a software engineer.
So data is very important for any company or any industry or any business, and you're working on it. And how is that when it comes to security and when it comes to engineering?
Yeah, I mean, we often say that data is the new gold for companies today, right? So it's something that we handle. We provide data provide insights for the C-level suite, for example, to make decisions for their company. Just to give you an example, a data warehouse solution is a strategic database solution for the top level management, so they can make decisions based on data and based on what they really have as quick and as good as possible. So this is one source, but also if you think about, let's say, data science in the machine learning, we also can do predictions with some rules we give to the data, so that, for example, a marketing analyst will know what to do if a product is underperforming or maybe also performing extremely well. So maybe this customer, this product manager wants to lower or put a higher price for a product, for example. So it's you have a lot of questions you can answer with data. So data is something that really can give you some value as a company, because it gives you a base of understanding what really is happening within the company.
So as a data engineer, you see 360 degrees of data related things or data engineering things. So in this 15 years, I'm sure you might have observed or experienced or learned or understood so much, and also saw the change that human is doing in this data management or uh, 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 data security. So observing this changes that is constantly happening in the technology. Just now you mentioned that every week or every month a version is coming, a new version is being implemented. So how humans are thinking when it comes to data engineering, what they are doing to improve the service or to give the better quality, service to the clients or the businesses.
Yeah, I mean, if you work in this industry, especially in consulting, then you have to keep up with the technology that constantly develops further and constantly. And personally, for me, that's fun because I really get the new ideas and new creativity to work with data, to work on solutions. So if you are a data engineer, in my opinion, that's something that you should do, is to try to get up to the technology that is provided to you, especially if you're a consultant. If you are in-house and you don't have to do that much, then you have a different um, the different point of view of this to solve problems. But it's something that, in my opinion, especially as a consultant, that should be fun for you if you're a consultant. Yeah.
Can you share any situation or any experience in your career or any problem that you were solving or you spent a lot of time or you are unable to solve it, and and at last you did it? Do you remember anything?
Yeah. Well, that's a good question. A good thing. I mean, uh, something that we really have to think a lot about, also, I mean, longer about, or data science solutions or machine learning solutions, because machine learning and data science solutions usually are not so easy to bring to production, because it's not so easy also to find a solution that really is beneficial to the customer, right? So what you unless you really put in a lot of resources. That is why actually machine learning is very rare in companies. So that's something that you have to keep in mind. Um, there are people usually that think machine learning or data science could solve everything. To some point, it's true, but what they oftentimes don't see are the costs. So it's always also do we get a return on investment or not? That's something we really have to discuss with the customer. Another problem that I can talk about is, for example, we had SQL Server that, well, the data was delivered with log shipping, basically. So we were sent logs. And we were actually supposed to use log shipping functionality within SQL Server, but we could not, because the log shipping is only allowed between SQL Server that have a version discrepancy, version gap between the two SQL servers that are up to two versions, for several reasons. There are actually the technical reasons behind it. And so we have we then realized, oh, the data we received from is actually an older one than we originally suspected. So it's such kind of the problems that you stumble upon basically, and then realize you have to solve the problems totally differently than you originally planned.
And what is the difference between data engineering in on-premises environment and in the cloud environment? Because in the cloud, we have global infrastructure. Microsoft Azure has global infrastructure and have data centers in different parts of the world. And what is the difference in engineering?
Strictly engineering wise, it's actually not so much different. It's actually pretty much the same. I mean, we have pretty much similar technology background, yeah. But the possibilities that you have on Azure is are very different. You have with Azure you have usually not also you have much more possibilities than companies would have on premises. That means you also have much more opportunities to solve costs, to solve cost problems, to solve other problems. To, for example, have the possibility also to put more calculation power. You have the possibility to downsize, upsize, to shut down servers, for example. So if you look at it that way, it becomes a bit more complex because you have much more possibilities you can solve the problems with. Yeah.
And what you did to become an Microsoft most valuable professional?
Uh, I would not say I did something to become an MVP. That's actually, if people ask me how to become an MVP, I always tell them um, it's not something that you should strive for. It's because what I essentially did is I was very active in the community because I like the community. I will always contribute to the community because for me that's fun. It's not just work. You can also interact with people. You get to know the people. You find friends actually with people I found. For example, I have a friend in Austria, or also friends in Germany and also in the United States that I usually chat with on a quite regular basis. So that's something that's actually I really like. But also, of course, like I said before, it's a passion of mine to get know the product into the depth, to learn more about the product. If you do this, then it's also quite easy to see why you want to contribute it with sharing knowledge, for example, because if you share knowledge, you also learn at the same time again. So you also, I'm also organizing a conference that's called Data Bash, which is going to be this year again on November 25th. And it's an online conference. Everyone can join. It's for free. I also have a Azure data user group here in Switzerland, a meetup basically, also for free. We can just join there and discuss something. And after the talk, usually we would have a networking thing that we just can talk with each other and learn together with about the products or ideas that were presented. So it's something I just enjoy to be in the community and interact with the community. If if you see this as work, then you probably won't be an MVP. You are going to fail because then you will see is it work and it will be too much. So it's um, so I don't think it's something that you really should strive for. Yeah.
And apart from data engineer, you're also a solutions architect, also a consultant. So tell me about that.
Yeah, as a consultant, like I said before, you always learn new things. You interact with clients because, of course, the clients want to have solutions of tomorrow, not the solutions that are perhaps presented today or have been around for years. So what you have to do is to show them solutions that they may profit from and have a return on investment as quick and as good as possible. So it's always a cost and gain question you have to solve as well, and to meet the requests by the customer. So that's also something that's very interesting because you see a lot of different, very diverse problems you can solve in the end. Yeah.
So in order to solve the tomorrow's problems of the clients, how do you hire the skilled people?
Yeah, that's at the moment in Switzerland, it's not so easy to find new people because the market, job market is quite scarce. It's quite dried up because I feel like well, there's several reasons. One reason is the computer science is so diverse job. You said you are a DevOps engineer, then others are maybe infrastructure engineer, others again do client support for laptops and stuff like that. And a lot of people do software engineering because that's actually predominantly taught at universities. And data engineering, I think, feel like oftentimes comes across as very dry, very calculated, which is true to some point, but a lot of people misunderstand this as not interesting, but it's actually not true. In my opinion, it's very interesting because with data, you really can tell story of how the company did revenue-wise, for example, in the past year, for example. So you learn how the company works with data. You learn how management works with data. So it's actually much more behind it than just the data. What you see, because especially as a consultant, you need to think about what kind of problems companies have, also management has to solve for them. And for that, you also need to have some business acumen. So it's not just technical skills you need, but you also need a business mind to solve those problems.
Your combination of two. You're a person who understands the engineering thing of the software, and also you understand the uh, business side of the software, which means that you understand engineering thing in technology, also the business side of the technology. So you talk with computers, you talk with human beings. Which one is easy and which one is tough?
Yes, but I wouldn't say that computers are easy and on the phone always either. Since sometimes the computer doesn't do what I actually want, and I have to figure out why the computer is acting that way that I'm not expecting. But it's also fun to find out why this is, because every time it happens to you, then you learn something new usually. So or you maybe something happened you didn't expect, or you just found out something you didn't think of, for example. This is yeah, but like I said before, it's data engineering is less as of software engineering is really different thinking from software engineering, in my opinion. It's because I mean, of course, some people do work with Python, for example. Those people do, and also there are people that almost exclusively working with Python, but that's not me. I'm actually less working with Python. Although I really like Python, by the way. I do like it. Yeah.
And Microsoft is one of the top companies in the world, major companies in the world, and reputed companies in the world, and which is solving problems of human beings all over the planet. So what kind of thinking Microsoft have in order to create those products or tools, technology products or technology tools or services in order to solve the problems of human beings who are into different industries and who are from different parts of the world?
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, at the moment we have have it all over the media, right? What does AI mean for humanity, right? And I personally believe it's an exciting time to be in this era of the rise of AI. What I don't believe is the horror scenarios are like we will all lose our jobs. We will all lose control about the computers because AI will gain stuff. Because this is just not how AI works. And Microsoft is very closely working with OpenAI, which is at the moment quite leading this field. So we also have Bing Chat, for example. Bing Chat is also a very advanced tool with GPT. This is the same technology behind ChatGPT. For me, as a human being, it's a very exciting time. I don't believe we will change the industry to that point. The media wants us to make believe. It is going to be revolutionary for sure. But for example, let's say credit cards have been revolutionary as well. Credit cards, they changed how we paid. Also via internet, for example, a lot of transactions today with credit cards are happening in the internet, for example. That's just an example. So I would compare it that way, but it doesn't take. There may be a job lost. That's of course true, but that's a process that's always going on. You also could think about, for example, 30 years ago when we introduced computers in accounting. So some accountants were replaced by computers because accounting became faster and easier to do. But accountants still exist today. It's not that we don't have any accountants anymore today. And because AI, as it is today, are not conscious and can't really think creatively as we humans do, or solve problems as we humans do. We will still need people to solve problems, because if you go, for example, to try to solve a problem with a text you want to write, you will oftentimes still find mistakes. If you go, for example, to DALI, which is DALI is a AI implementation for graphics. If you want to generate a graphic, and you want to, let's say, a logo, you have already something in mind. The best thing you can do with this actually is to present it to a graphic designer. So say, this is about what I have in mind. Please improve it that way, because DALI won't be able to solve the problem exactly the way you want. It's only generating a picture more or less randomly, because machine learning and AI, as it is today, always also to some point works with coincidence, with some seed of a coincidence. That means just randomness. That's what the word I was looking for. So with some randomness. So we have a seed number to give to AI, and then it generates something with it. So it's not so clearly instructed as media wants make us to believe. It's actually quite much more diverse, so much more complex than that. And this is also why AI, as we know it today, probably won't have consciousness ever. So I don't think the next 10 or maybe even 20 years AI will have a consciousness like we people do. That's just not how AI machine learning works.
And what is the role of data engineering in artificial intelligence or automation?
Yeah, well, data engineer is always about automatize some problem of data to a solution. So, for example, if you want, let's say, a classic solution, you have a CRM, so customer relation management database, for example. You want to improve it in some ways. Perhaps you want to have the house number in a different field for some reason, because you want to have a better insight of the street for the customers, for example. Then you have to think about how to solve this problem. This sounds perhaps easier than it actually usually is done, because the data may be very diverse, and also oftentimes you need to clean the data from mistakes that were entered into in the past. For example, if let's say the database is very old, and let's say phone numbers in your country changed for some reason, technical reasons, then you have also to find solutions how to fix that. That's not so easy. And if humans are at work, there are always errors. But it's the same also if you're a data engineer, also errors may happen. So you have to correct this. Of course, from the past to the current solution to clean the data the way you need to have it been.
And what is the connection between human and technology?
Yeah, like I said, you solve problems. So, right, I mean, companies essentially also are people, right? I mean, there's no company without any people. That's just how it is. So, if you work with the company, you work with people, and in the end, you have to solve problems for people. So it could be a marketing department. Then it's usually the chief marketing officer, for example, you solve problems for. Same with finance, same for the CEOs, something like that. That's what you are doing. Yeah.
And what you enjoy in doing it?
Yeah, well, I enjoy it because, like I said before, it's always new technology you have to learn, and uh, you never see the same problem again. So you solve one problem and you never see the same problem again. This is, of course, to some extent, the problems you solve are similar. That means you work with data, you work with ETL, for example, you work with databases. That's actually usually the common base for it. But the problems you in the end solve is hardly ever the same as.
So at last, what do you say to the technology scientists or technology experts who are working evolution or for the development, for the advancement of technology, and who wants to reduce the human effort and human energy.
You mean for the future?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good question. Which direction are we going? Yeah, well, it's always the question is always cost. Okay, of course, how can we solve problems that can reduce costs? For example, data lake was an answer to the question: do we really need the data always as structured like in a data warehouse, for example, right? You don't always need that rigid structure to work with. The data lake is a bit more open, and also can also mean I want to have also the different data than just numbers or strings like that, but also media, for example, files, something like this. That's also what a data lake could mean. You work with. So this is always also technology that gets more intelligent. I would say, let's say, machine learning and data science is another question how you can work. So this, I would say, for the future, the data engineering becomes even more specialized as it is today. I mean, we already saw that from data engineering. It's actually data engineering has been evolved as well in the last 10 years. And this is going to keep on because we already have specialists, for example, for data science that really solve problems in specific problems that as a data engineer I can't solve, for example, because they are too specific, too complex, and the same is for machine learning as well. So you get more specializations in this field. And this is to keep on keep going to be this in the future. Yeah.
And when Microsoft is going to put its data center in other parts of the universe?
Data center part with it, other parts with what? Sorry, I'm not sure if I understood you. Sorry.
When Microsoft is providing services and also products solving problems of human beings from on the earth, when Microsoft is thinking about the earth and going to other parts of the universe, other parts of the solar system or other parts of the universe?
I see. Okay. So of course I can't speak for Microsoft. I'm not working for Microsoft, right? But what I think also Microsoft already provides tools that makes it possible to solve that is um, uh, solving problems for humankind. So for example, how can I do more crops on my field? So how can I harvest more, for example? This kind of technology already exists. Microsoft also supports for us, also in climate science, for example. In terms of environment, also a lot of problems they solve as well. I know, for example, they try to reduce the CO2 consumptions of the products they currently produce, for example. So I think Microsoft does have humanity in their mind. Because in the end, this is also what I agree to. Microsoft is also a company, and Microsoft also consists of people, and therefore they also want to have people be happy, because in the end, if you have an Earth that is destroyed, in the end, means also the company can't exist anymore, of course. That's just my opinion. This is how I experience Microsoft, and it's not what Microsoft is like. Perhaps I don't know because I'm not spoken person by Microsoft.
So at last, what is your observation about my work? Have you seen any videos of me on YouTube?
Of me, or so how many video of who?
What is your observation about my work? Have you seen any videos of
Of
mine
you
on
work?
YouTube?
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
I believe you do great work. Really, I'm impressed. Uh, Congratulations, really. I mean, as I said, you do videos that actually, I think, have some value, information, and I think they're worth fun to watch. Yeah.
So what I'm going to learn with these interviews, these conversations with experts like you who are already in the industry for a long time and who are learning technologies from different parts of the world, me talking with experts like you and interviewing them, what I'm going to learn and how I'm going to use this knowledge in my work if I work as DevOps engineer or another role. How this experience, this interviews experience is going to helpful for me.
Well, I think this is definitely going to help you as well. If you do work for a community and if you like it, you always learn something new. It's learning is not strictly coding, right? It's not something. It's just also discussions about ideas. It's also about how to solve or attack a problem. Can you get the ideas and to learn how you can do it. Um, I don't think. Coding is everything. That's just not true. It's just actually you have to keep a much open, broader mind to solve problems well. If you want to solve a problem well, you can always be a good programmer, but if you attack a problem in the wrong way, you will also have a poor solution for the problem. So yeah.
So can I put this video on my YouTube channel with your permission?
Yeah, of course, you can, of course.
And also, can I put this audio and video clip on my podcast, website, internet, social media, everywhere with your permission?
Of course, you can do that. Of course, you can do this. Of course.
And can you share your web links from which my audience can learn from you?
Well, I can do that. I will share your links as well. My channels. Of course, I can do that.